The Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it's easy to be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Thank you very much.
All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to another special bonus episode of Gotta Have Heart Wrestling by yours truly, Jamal Holness here. And earlier, I did an episode today about the 2008 Warner Bros. Live from Madison Square Garden, and I just wanted to even take a step back, and go back to the previous year of the 2007 Warner Bros., which I just watched a few moments ago, and I gotta say, for past excitement. We haven't seen that much throughout the earlier 2000s. But I gotta say, Townsend Warren kind of surprised me here, which had the last two remaining superstars in the Royal match themselves. Plus, he had a great tag team match kickoff show and three world title matches. So, even though 5 matches total, I think it really did live up to the standard of it being one of the more exciting Rumbles. And also, it was the first Rumble to either feature the ECW Championship on the line and ECW superstars in the Rumble itself. Alright, this will be live on January 28th, 2007 from the AT&T Center in San Antonio, Texas with an attendance record of 13,500 fans. Antonio, Texas has been memorable. They back to the 1997 Rumble, which we saw, Stone Cold Steve Austin miraculously being declared a victor in the Rumble matchup, even though in my mind it should have been Bret the Hitman Hart, being a two-time winner, but, things happen to WWE. You can't call what you can't see. Bret Hart kind of got screwed out of the Rumble. I'll even admit it to that certain extent. And we saw Shawn Michaels defeat Psycho Sid to become the new WWE champion in front of 66,000 of his hometown friends and family. What a Rumble moment that was, to end off the 97 Rumble that year. 10 years later, we're back in San Antonio, Texas, and this time in the AT&T Center, not in the Alamo Dome. But, like I said, there's always first time for everything here, We had a dark match. We had JTG with Chad Gaspar in his corner, known as the Crime Time Tag Team, facing off against Lance Cade with Trevor Murdoch in his corner. And JTG will defeat Lance Cade in the dark match here. That wasn't televised, it doesn't air in the event or even on the pre-show itself. So I'm pretty sure World fans called it a pretty okay match, decent match for a dark match. So yeah. Oh man, usually every season into the Rumble, you have Team Rated RKO, Edge, and Randy Orton being the tag team champions. Try to stay on the same page, but knowing that every man for himself in the Rumble match, they're going to fix and try to way that maybe they can both benefit from the process. We see Shawn Michaels dominate the Rumble as his best friend was Cole DX's partner and brethren, who much had torn his ACL at New Year's Revolution 2007. And Shawn Michaels just basically by himself now. But heading to his hometown, San Antonio, Texas, Shawn Michaels will begin to think some magic could happen one more time. And we saw the Fiend the Undertaker this past night on SmackDown destroy every superstar that got in his way on the SmackDown roster. Let it know that he will be part of the Rumble match himself also. Alright, first up, we got the Hardy Boys taking on Eminem, Mercury Nitro with Melina at ringside. This is a pretty exciting matchup. You get two of these best tag teams here. Eminem, three-time tag team champions. They've been captain tag teams the first night in WWE on SmackDown 2 years prior to time fly from Eddie Guerrero and Mysterio. That's pretty amazing. You can feed Eddie Guerrero and Mysterio in tag team matchup on your very first night on SmackDown. That's what I never did here. You get the Hardy Boys, well-known tag team, legendary tag team, one of the best tag teams in WWE history themselves. And come off that amazing Fatal 9 match at Armageddon Sound 6. I talked about this in my podcast, and you gotta feel so bad for Joe Mercury's broken nose there. I talked about it. All that blood and gushing out of his nose, his eyes being swollen shut. Oh man, he did come out with a face mask because having surgery. His face was pretty much still injured, from that insane Fatal 4 ladder match at Armageddon last month. The Hardy Boys will get the win with Jeff Hardy's Swanton Bomb on to John Natural, getting 1, 2, 3, getting the victory for them. And you will see Hardy Boys and not Mercury, but Nitro evolved in the War match later on there tonight. This match lasts 15 minutes and 27 seconds here. This is probably one of the more exciting tag team matches to open up a show. If you're going to have something open the Rumble, you're going to have you want to have a really good tag team match up here. And that's what this provided. You know the Hardy Boys on separate brands. Of course, Eminem being on the Raw brand, so it was pretty fitting to see these two teams mixed up here, and to prove that the past generation tag team can defeat the new generation tag team. All right, next up, we see Bobby Lashley defending the championship against Test ECW Championship. First time ever the ECW Championship is being defended at the Royal Rumble. This is how far ECW. Let me show you my opinion on this stuff. I love Bob Lashley. Him being the Big Show and four of the competitors in the Extreme Lucha Champion match at December to December in December of 96. Oh, not 96, 2006. That was a great matchup. It was a way to boost Bob Lashley as a major competitor. Putting the world championship on him, I think that was the right move. He's been as a champion when he was on SmackDown earlier prior to 2006, but you gotta think the people on Raw SmackDown roster. You got the motive to like say NXT or even ECW in this case, 2006. It's not really the motion. It really is not. Just think of an opportunity to reinvent yourself, reboost yourself, and that's what Bob Lashley did. He really did, and he became ECW champion in the shortest amount of time, being demoted to ECW. So, like I said, this is pretty much working in Bob Lashley's favor. Now, Test, Andrew Martin, his real name, rest in peace. He is deceased right now. But Test, major player back in WWE, whether he was on Raw or SmackDown, always a big time superstar from the Attitude Era, here in this new generation era of WWE, and you gotta really think of that. Test, he's big, muscular, he was trying to get the superstardom, be world champion ECW. He was gonna have to go through Bob Lashley here. And even though I wasn't quite a fan of the newly revived ECW back in 05-06, they were trying to push the limits here. Get the ECW championship to be defended on a major stage at the Rumble. This is kind of, taking out the brass ring. Be like, stepped up. ECW can be one of those major brands equal to Raw, SmackDown that could really push themselves. They were a one hour weekly show on Sci-Fi every Tuesday night, but they were still trying to find their own way, try to get back to the old ECW, in my opinion. So it's pretty good in this part. All right, this match will be pretty much back and forth here. Bob Lashley, getting the win because Test via countout did not want to continue here. Bob Lashley will win by countout, keeping on to the ECW Championship in 7 minutes and 18 seconds here. So pretty decent matchup here, to say the least here. All right, next up, we have Batista defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Mr. Kennedy. Let me tell you how I was impressed when Mr. Kennedy came in first. He defeated, mind you, all four world champions he defeated. Whether it was The Undertaker, Rey Mysterio, Chris Benoit, I think even King Brooke at one point, and probably somebody else. But like Mr. Kennedy, even though he had lost a few matches, he was a former national champion. He's been on a major role. He's already had this amazing last ride match against The Undertaker at Armageddon. Even though he did lose, he found a way to beat the clock in January in 2007 to get the challenge to Batista at the Rumble that time. And I gotta say, this was really cool. It really was. To see Mr. Kennedy verge on the rise of being a main event star, going after the animal Batista. Batista's been a red hot lately. Like I said, he was out majority of 2006. Batista, one of the most sad injury, had to go to the championship January 2006. Comes back. Beats King Booker at Survivor Series 2006 in the same city that he vacated the championship in, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Had this cool match, team with John Cena against King Booker and Finlay, the main event of Armageddon, wins the match up here. Batista's on a roll like nobody else here. On a major roll, even like as far as WWE champion John Cena goes. But yeah, this was a chance for Mr. Kennedy to really say who he is, a major event player, and capture his first world championship here. Unlikely, not this man will cease to assist for Mr. Kennedy here, as he will get defeated by Batista with the Batista bomb in 10 minutes and 29 seconds here. I'll admit though, Kennedy did prove himself worthy by dominating the most match against Batista, using his dirty tactics to try to win the championship. So it wasn't really much of a pushover for Batista, but Mr. Kennedy did put up a fight. So I gotta rate this match 3.5 stars out of 5. This is a pretty decent matchup for Matt Crawford. Last 10 minutes and 29 seconds, it was still a pretty good wartime match to kick off, the Rumble, say the least here. All right, we got John Cena defending the WWE Championship against Umaga with Armando Alejandro Estrada in his corner. This match would be a last man standing match for the WWE Championship. Mind you, Umaga, ever since coming to WWE after WrestleMania 22 the previous year, was undefeated for a whole entire year. Leading up to New Year's Revolution pay-per-view in 2007, He won against Cena. Cena found a way to pin Umaga 1, 2, 3, giving Umaga his first defeat in WWE's history. Of course, Umaga will not take that line down here, as him and his associate or his manager, Armando, had two stipulations for the Rumble. Of course, he would chose a last minute stand match here. Cena didn't back down, signed a contract Monday at Raw. Unfortunately, he got splashed to a table by Umaga 6 days prior to the Rumble event. And John Cena, it was Cena back in the doctor's office of this event. Even Mr. Man asking if John Cena can continue and defend the championship. If not, Cena will get stripped of the championship. John Cena was going to this match to injure ribs here. I cannot stress how good this match was. You see many John Cena big time matches. You pick like a top 5. In my opinion, the last match between John Cena and Umaga would be up there as the top 5 best John Cena wartime matches ever. Like seriously, ever. I enjoyed this match so much to the point that I watched from start to finish. And you see a parts matchup here where John Cena lifts up those heavy steel steps, toss him over the top ropes, outside the ring, and clonks Umaga right in the head here. This is pretty surreal. This is really that surreal. You even see a spot where he has Umaga John Cena laid up on an announce table here, on the ECW announce table. And you got all 3 announce tables, Raw, SmackDown, ECW. Umaga running from Monday, from SmackDown, to the Raw announce table, to the knee and tries to splash Cena and misses. Umaga still had enough to stand up here. Mind John Cena was busted open from ear to ear. And one of those bad John Cena's busted open moments. You've seen John Cena busted open. Probably another infamous, match where John Cena was really busted open was Judgment Day Time 5, the Icon match against JBL. You thought that was something. This would almost kind of be like that, similar to that. How John Cena's blood started flowing over his head. Oh man, there's even the last moments match where Armando took apart the top rope of the whole entire ring, and he had one part of the turnbuckle with the steel on the back of it, a steel spike, or if you want to call it that. Tries to hit Cena. Cena looks Umaga for the FU, plans with FU, and John Cena will do the STF with the ropes tied around Umaga's neck and tries to choke him out. This is such real. Had that ropes locked in for maybe a minute, almost 2 minutes. He let go. Umaga stirring to the speed here. John Cena will get back in the STF and wrap the ropes around Umaga's head. This is crazy. Forcing Umaga to pass out and not be able to answer the count of 10. This is surreal. This is pretty surreal. John Cena getting a win and retaining his WWE Championship. This is amazing. I would rate this match 4.5 out of 5 stars. This was one of the best last matches I've ever seen. It really is. You go from the first one. You see The Rock and Mankind from St. Valentine's Day Massacre, February 14, 1999, all the way to this one. You see some brutal last matches. This has got to be one of the top 10. But for me, top 5 best John Cena all-time matches ever. This match was brutal. This match will last 23 minutes and 9 seconds here. This will be Umaga's second loss in WWE's history, or in his record book, I should say. But man, you gotta take them away from Cena. Again, like I said, my podcast about the previous episode, Rumble 2008. Taking nothing away from Cena. When it comes to big time all time matches, about 85-90% of the time he's going to win. It's pretty much flat enough. He's going to win. Either win the championship or retain the championship. This one, he retained the championship, and it was so amazing to see that. John Cena Coleman's match with injured ribs and still be able to take on a 375 pounder Umaga. Samoan machine, whatever you want to call Umaga. Rest in peace, But, this is amazing. This match, from start to finish, had me on my toes. This was a really good matchup here. I enjoyed this. I really did. All right, coming next, we got the Royal Rumble matchup, 30 men, Raw, SmackDown, ECW. This is also real here. And wow, if you want to kick off the Royal Rumble, you got to kick it off with somebody special. You kick it off with the 16-time World Champion Ric Flair. I was about to say Rey Mysterio. Sorry, guys. Ric Flair coming out number 1 here, and SmackDown's Finlay coming out number 2. This is pretty amazing here. You got number 3 coming out, Kenny Dykstra here, as he gets eliminated by, Edge? Yeah, because number 4 coming out, Matt Hardy from SmackDown. Number 5 will be Raw's Edge, who eliminates Kenny Dykstra. So, a pretty good showing here. And Ric Flair didn't last too long. Ric Flair lasted 5 minutes and 40 seconds, getting eliminated both Edge and Kenny Dykstra. Mind you, Kane Nitro was only 20 years old and this Rumble match here. That means when the very first Rumble came out, he was probably wasn't even born yet, or probably less than a year old. He was an infant. This is pretty crazy. You know, the youngest superstar I think at this point to ever compete in a Rumble match up here. It's gonna be a conflict. That's a record right there. Number 6, you got ECW's Tommy Dreamer. Number 7, Sabu. Number 8, SmackDown's Gregory Helms. Number 9 is Raw Shot Benjamin. And number 10, Kane from SmackDown. Let me tell y'all Kane's dominance. This was Kane's 9th straight Rumble event here. And like I said, Kane's broken records. Kane eliminated 11 people in one Rumble match, 2001, and that was 6 years ago before this one. Kane's dominance will continue here because he had, Sabu set the table outside the ring here, and Kane, with Chosen Sabu right through that announce table, causing Sabu to be eliminated, and probably one of the most impressive eliminations I've ever seen. So this is pretty crazy here. Number 11 comes out ECW CM Punk. Number 12, King Booker. King Booker was determined to get back as world champion that he lost to Batista at the Survivor Series here. Well, King Booker was eliminated by Kane at 9 minutes and 23 seconds. It didn't last too long here. Number 13, Super Crazy from Raw. Number 14, Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy, who had competed earlier tonight in the tag team match up here, pretty much was tired, but he still wanted to win to go to WrestleMania. Number 15, Sandman, doing his usual entrance coming out through the crowd here. And number 16, Randy Orton here. Edge is still in the match. So for now, until it gets down to them two, Randy Orton and Edge have decided to work together. They are the World Tag Team Champions for Monday Night Raw. Number 17, SmackDown's United States Champion Chris Benoit here. Number 18, ECW's Rob Van Dam. Number 19, Vince Ruff. Number 20, Johnny Nitro, who had also competed earlier tonight, is out here as well. Number 21, Kevin Thorne. Number 22, Hardcore from ECW. And just when everybody started to gang up to eliminate Vince Ruff, out comes number 23, the hometown boy, Shawn Michaels, comes out here and eliminates Finlay. Finlay, who had been coming in number 2nd, Finlay will last 32 minutes and 32 seconds before eliminated by Shawn Michaels as soon as Shawn Michaels into the ring here. And Vince Ruff, with the help of Shawn Michaels, Vince Ruff got eliminated by 10 superstars in 6 minutes and 22 seconds here. This is pretty amazing. Wow. Number 24, Chris Masters from Monday Night Raw. Number 25, Chavo Guerrero. Number 26, Montel Vontavious Porter. MVP. You see all the MVP has been through in his career. This is the MVP's first Royal match up here. But you go back, you watch some of the earliest matches against Kane on SmackDown, the street fights, and the steel cage matches, and the last man standing match, the no holds barred matches. I think MVP as first time wrestling, high paid superstar on SmackDown, he would do pretty decent. I like MVP's run when he first came to WWE. All right, next up we got 27, Carlito. They luck number 27. 4 men have won from the number 27 spot. Hopefully Carlito will get lucky here, but let's not hold our breaths. This is the warm up, though. Anything can happen. Number 28, the Great Khali from Monday Night Raw. Mind you, Great Khali been on Raw since January 1st, 2007 when he got transferred from SmackDown to Raw. This is pretty surreal here. Great Khali will eliminate 7 superstars here, including The Miz, that came on number 29. And it's just like Khali was going to dominate the match go to WrestleMania. Until number 30 hits. The Phenom, The Undertaker, comes out number 30, would eliminate Khali in 3 minutes and 19 seconds here with just him by himself. Like, this is impressive. One man, The Undertaker, to eliminate the 7'4" monster, the Great Khali. This is surreal. It really is. And pretty much this match dominated until it came out to Edge, Randy Orton, Shawn Michaels, and The Undertaker. Pretty surreal here. Oh, man. At first, you had Edge and Randy Orton double team Shawn Michaels. Randy Orton hits the RKO on Shawn Michaels. Randy Orton hits The Undertaker with a steel chair that MVP originally brought to the ring, but didn't use it. Instead, but used our teammate RKO here. And just was about to do another concerto to The Undertaker. Shawn Michaels pops up, eliminates Randy Orton, then super kicks Edge out over the top rope. We have the final 2 participants, Edge and Undertaker, Shawn Michaels here. How fitting, and that long storied history between Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, that the 2007 Royal Rumble will come down to them. In San Antonio, Texas, and Shawn Michaels' hometown, with all these fans riding behind Shawn Michaels. But also, you got many fans in the arena that are rooting for The Undertaker to win. This is so surreal. This is like one of those dream fantasy Rumble endings, and we got that here in San Antonio, Texas. These two would nip up and sit up here. We got Shawn Michaels all over The Undertaker with the mountain of punches on the top rope, getting thrown back down here. We would see the point where Undertaker was going to suplex Shawn Michaels to the outside of the ring here on the top rope. They were successful here. Knocks the Undertaker down on the top rope. Shawn Michaels lays out with the elbow. Shawn Michaels set up for Sweet Chin Music. Countered by the Undertaker into a chokeslam here. Shawn Michaels was set up again and knocks the Undertaker out with Sweet Chin Music here. As Shawn Michaels is preparing for another sweet super kick, Undertaker's using ropes to help him get himself up. And then we see Shawn Michaels off Sweet Chin Music. Undertaker counts and backflips Shawn Michaels over the top rope to win the Talented War Rumble. The Undertaker, in the first time in his career, has won the War Rumble matchup here, earning the spot in the main event to challenge for any champion that he wants at WrestleMania 23. Oh man, I gotta admit, as the Undertaker fan, when I watched the Talented War Rumble, I was so happy to see that. Because now, finally, after 5 years, the Undertaker was going to the Battle for Championship at an event he does not lose at WrestleMania. This is so surreal. You know, as a fan, I cheered my ass off for the Undertaker that night, and it seemed like my pick to win the Rumble had come true. Finally. So, this is a pretty amazing finish to any War Rumble event that recently happened in the 2000s era. So, this is amazing, yeah. It was. Shawn Michaels was really disappointed not winning the Rumble, but like I said, if not Shawn Michaels, definitely the Undertaker. Well, I don't know what kind of surprise we're going to see. We're going to see a magical Final Four or Final Two in this year's 2021 Royal Rumble. Find out Sunday, January 31st, live on WWE Network from St. Petersburg, Florida, in the Thunderdome 2.0. No? 2.0? Okay. Well, thank you guys for joining to listen to episode to my bonus episode of this podcast, Gotta Have Heart Wrestling. I'm smelling t-shirts coming out soon, selling merchandise real soon. Check out my website, gottahaveheartw.com. Again, that's gottahaveheartw.com. And follow my Twitter, I do Twitter a lot, at Phenomenal1J. That's Twitter, at Phenomenal, number 1J. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the evening, ladies and gentlemen.